Looking forward to getting stuck into Aaron Roy's golf swing analysis video for you here today. Of course, this past weekend he got his hands on the Wanamaker Trophy, and that secured his first major championship of his career at the PGA. And really interesting press conference post round 4 after he picked up the title. Really humble guy, and I think if you're a junior golfer out there looking to pick a role model, this is certainly one not to overlook. Now, looking forward to getting into his full swing analysis video here today. There's some unique pieces in here, and before I show you the slowed down version where we get into the details of it, let's show you him in full speed here to show you what we're working with in today's video. So in terms of some of the unique pieces in Aaron's swing here, we see his first move off the golf ball. It has the hands working quite deep inside. If we throw in a reference point here just to show you that, let's box in the iconic two gloves. And as you watch, they will arc around the body like so. As we get him to the conclusion of his takeaway, P2 in the golf swing, when the shaft reaches level to the ground, we can see the club head is outside that of his hands here. And if we take a zoomed in look at the pair of gloves that I'd imagine are selling out of pro shops pretty rapidly after Aaron's win this past weekend, I'd say golf pros must be delighted they've never sold so many winter gloves during the summer. And when we look at that right glove in particular, it's quite right palm down to the ground. And of course that in turn then keeps the forearms a little bit more closed than what you may see from some other guys out on tour. Let's zoom back out here. When we continue to build Aaron up to the top of the backswing here, we can see the hands have worked deep. The shaft pitch is on the steeper side of things for sure here by this point. If we draw an extension down from the shaft here, we see it's well inside that of the golf ball that he's striking here. If you're looking for something that's maybe a little bit more textbook, we would show a different line here. Let's go yellow. And a lot of players on tour would have the butt end of that grip, if we drew an extension from that, more like on that yellow line there. So it's just inside, or some players would even have it on the golf ball. So you can see Aaron very deep with the hand pat and steep with the pitch at the shaft here. As we bring Aaron up to the top, we can see some internal rotation of that trail arm, which gets even more noticeable as we work things into the downswing for Aaron, which is not a bad thing. It's important to note some of the similarities and some of the differences from some of the best players in the world. When we look at this position though, it is a little bit more on the unique side. There's not as many players on tour that have the right elbow this deep behind them on the way down. And that internal rotation of that trail arm is certainly very noticeable by this point here. If you're looking for an analogy to describe this position, that internal rotation, you could think of the right arm winning an arm wrestle on the way down. And as we continue to build Aaron's golf swing, as we bring him into the downswing, we see an excellent impact position, as you'd expect from a major champ. We see an excellent disassociation from the upper to the lower half when we note the position of the belt line versus the shoulder line. The hips have cleared, but the shoulders haven't spun open excessively. That is something that amateur golfers struggle to do. They tend to have everything move too much together, and they can't separate their upper and lower half. So Aaron, of course, has done an excellent job of that, so his sequencing is very much in a good place. As we continue to progress Aaron on into the finish, if we play him all the way up into the very conclusion of his golf swing here, it's going to look a little bit unique. But when you study the swings of the best players, when you know where to look, when you put things under the microscope, you can learn an awful lot, and you can see that there oftentimes is more similarities than differences amongst the best players. If we were to just look at the conclusion of a swing and note the position that you now see his left arm in, it looks very high. But if you bring him back a step here, if you pause him at this moment in time here, it's a little bit of a low umbrella finish, as I would call it, if you've seen some of my other social media posts when working with students. And if we look at this position here, this looks fairly textbook. This right here could be easily a Tommy Fleetwood swing. It could be a Rory McIlroy when paused at the same position in his golf swing here as well. We can see there's been a rehinging of the wrists to safely decelerate the club. If you're talking about one of the most underspoke but one of the most important pieces in the golf swing, it's how to decelerate the club in a safe manner. A lot of people online are talking about how to accelerate the club, but very few are talking about how to decelerate it. And the wrists entering this rehinged position is a position that a lot of people overlook. But again, this could very easily be a Tommy Fleetwood or Rory McIlroy position here in relative terms to that of where the shaft is and also how that right arm is working across. But again, if you were to just look at the very conclusion of the swing, definitely it would look a bit more on the unique side of things here for sure. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe buttons. It really helps with the growth of the channel, but it also just ensures that you won't miss out on any future content coming from myself here on the channel, of which there's plenty lined up to be released very shortly. For any golfer who has stayed until the end of a lengthy video like this, which is quite detailed, orientated, and very heavy on the educational side of things when it comes to the golf swing, you strike me as someone who is serious about learning and serious about finding ways to improve their own golf. If that is the case, then you can reach out and connect with myself today, regardless of where you are in the world. My name is Seán Marks. I'm a PGA professional and I specialize in teaching the full swing, and I help golfers worldwide through an app called Skillest that I use for my online coaching, help players reach their full potential tee to green. The online program that I run on Skillest that helps people of all ages and all skill levels reach their full potential tee to green is called the Long Game Transformation Program. The minimum commitment for this program for students looking to sign up is that of a 3-month period. Often is the case where students want to continue on long beyond this point because they've seen the value in it, their game has seen the improvements, and they want to continue to push the boundaries and see what's possible. But let's say that you only wanted to sign up for the first 3 months. Here is exactly what I can promise you will learn. You will learn the 3 fundamentals required to completely transform your long game, and that is strike, direction, and distance. The first, in strike, you need the ability to control your low points. Second of all, when we touch on direction, you need to be able to have a predictable curve and a consistent shot shape that you can rely on out on the course. And third is distance. You need to be able to know how to pump enough distance into your game to be competitive at the level of this sport that you desire to play at. This program is designed to give you as much support as you need. There's nothing pre-recorded. Everything is personalized to the individual. There's open communication channels that you can message me whenever you want. Anytime you have a question, you can message me. There's unlimited feedback on the program. And if you're ever in doubt as to whether you're doing a drill correctly or whatever the case may be, you can message me and get feedback within a turnaround time of never any more than 24 hours. If you're ready to start improving today, I will leave a link underneath the video in the description box where you can download Skillest. Alternatively, you can search for it on the App Store and get started on your improvement journey today. If you want in-person coaching with myself in Ireland, I also work with players based in Ireland online, but if you'd like in-person coaching, you can see my booking diary on my website, seanmarksgolf.com. So I look forward to seeing you, whether it's in person or remotely online, very soon.